Hey guys, what is up? Tormental here. I want to make one quick video, sort of a retrospective about Town of Salem, Blank Media Games, and why I'm not playing the game on my channel anymore. I'm going to try to keep this quick because I've already given enough time to them. But some people have asked me to make a new video in which I don't, use profanity, anything like that, so that they can forward it to people they know who, don't want to listen to somebody who's cursing or whatever. So this is a video that you'll be able to send to, children who play the game, grandmas who play the game, YouTubers who play the game. This will be something safe and warm and comforting that also dresses down blank media and what I have a problem with. I'm going to go through these bullet point style. I'm not going to be providing a bunch of evidence in this video on screen and, things like that. If you want to see a bunch of evidence and stuff, you can look at the other videos I've made already. If you have a problem with the fact that there's no evidence on screen of people saying things, etc., that's fine. You can go on about your business and have a nice life, but, I'm not going to jump through any hoops anymore. This is just me explaining my position and explaining my thoughts on the subject, and you can take or leave it. That's totally up to you, and that's fine. My first problem with blank media games is a problem that a lot of people have with them, which is the fact that the developers and the staff don't listen to anybody. They will add things to the game that nobody asked for, and they'll similarly not ever answer or add or talk about or respond to things that people are asking for. So people will say, can you balance, this role? Can you do this? Can you do that? It would be nice if we had this. And instead, they'll ignore all that, and they'll add something like a spinning roulette wheel that shows your roll. And people are like, we didn't ask for this. This is a waste of our time at the beginning of each round. Why did you add this? They don't listen to what people want, and they pretty much don't care. I don't really give... I'm trying not to curse. I don't really give a hoot about skins and cosmetics and pets and things like that. But there are people who do care about those accessories, so with respect to them, I also have to point out that people have long asked for certain things in that regard too. Like, can we have a Doctor Who skin? Can we have a James Bond skin? Whatever. And Blank Media Games and their staff have said, oh no, we can't add that because that's trademarked and copyrighted. We'd get sued if we added James Bond or Doctor Who or any of those people. That's copyrighted and other people's property. Meanwhile, Blank Media Games added Jessica Rabbit. They're adding a bunch of League of Legends skins. By the way, these are things that nobody asked for. So it all comes down to the very obvious fact, and this was obvious from way early on, that Blank Media Games, they basically tell off people in whatever way they can to get them to stop asking for something or stop talking about something. Meanwhile, just putting in what they personally want. Like, one of the artists or developers had the hots for Jessica Rabbit, so they add a Jessica Rabbit skin. Meanwhile, someone asks, can we have a skin of Hermione from Harry Potter? And they say, no, we can't do that. That's copyrighted. And it's like, it just is it should be obvious to you guys what the problem with that is. I don't want to belabor it too much. But, I will just, to refine it, too long didn't read. They say that they can't add copyrighted characters when it's something that players ask for, but then they add copyrighted characters if it's something the developers wanted. So, this all goes back to that thing of not listening to and not caring about players. Second thing I'll address really quickly, threatening behavior, which really goes beyond the pale for me. It's really, shocking. The developers, the staff of Blank Media Games, the moderators, etc., are not above threatening people. This has happened to me personally and to people that I've seen it happen to. I'm sure you could ask and find a lot more people who, will claim that it happened to them. It's that typical thing, and I'm not talking about personal threats or anything like that, but it's that thing of, if you keep asking us to change something, we're going to do something bad. If you keep asking for new skins, we're going to take away skins. If you keep asking for pets, we're going to add less pets. That type of thing. And with me personally, as a YouTuber, I asked them if they could raise the friend limit because, you're allowed 1,000 friends, and if you're doing YouTube or Twitch or something like that, you're going to hit that 1,000 friend cap like that. You're going to hit it right away, and you're not going to be able to add any more subscribers or followers. So, people that you want to play with in the game. So I asked them if they could raise the friend limit, and because I asked multiple times, I was never getting a straight answer, but because I asked multiple times, they said, if you ask us again, we're going to lower everyone's friend limit. And it's like, dude, don't threaten me. Don't threaten any players, period. I'm a player like anybody else on your game, a paying player who bought your game. Don't threaten me. So, that's a recurring problem that I've seen happen with a bunch of people, and with, me personally, it's happened like twice. And it's crazy. Third, I'm getting a little worked up, and I'm trying to moderate myself, not curse, not get, irate, anything like that. So, yeah. We're all safe in our hug box here, but yeah. The moderators on the forum are very flippant. They will lie at the drop of a hat if it serves them, and they give special treatment to people they like. This doesn't just apply to the moderators, also their site admin has done some of this stuff, too. I almost said the SH word. But yeah, very flippant, very insulting to players. Like, moderators will come into a thread and be like, oh, you didn't know this? It's this way and that way. Try, playing the game sometime. Or, oh, you don't like it? Well, you can leave and go play another game. As, you're there to help people. Moderators volunteer to help the community. Moderators are not put in positions of power to be served by the community. You're in service of the community. And this is coming from somebody who has run online games. This is somebody who has administrated and has moderated. I know what's what in the butt. And you're not supposed to treat the players like they're your servants. You are a servant of the players, no matter what you say. There is no escaping that. The thing about giving special treatment to people they like, you can get warned, and you can get banned, and you can have all sorts of bad things happen to you for speaking to someone they like in the same exact way that person was already speaking to you. Like if one of their friends replies to you and says, yo, you're just a craphead and you don't know what you're talking about. Again, I'm trying not to curse. And you respond to them and say, well, maybe you're the craphead. Guess who the warning is coming in for? The warning is coming in for you, not the person that they like who started it. It's a very biased thing, and it's very ridiculous. And I'm trying not to get too wordy here, so let's just move on. There's no intercommunication in their company. I've been to multiple community streams where the community organizers were playing, or the community emissaries or whatever were playing Town of Salem. And these are people who work for Blank Media Games. And they would be playing on the stream and they wouldn't know how the game works. People who work for Blank Media Games, who were hired on, specifically to be go-betweens between the community and the developers, they would be on the game playing on Twitch, and they would be like, oh, the doctor died visiting that person. Does the serial killer automatically kill doctors? And it's like, no, I think it's just escorts and consorts. Are you sure? Well, I don't know, maybe. They didn't know how the game worked. And people in the chat would say, here's my suggestion for something that should be in the game, or here's something that you should fix in the game. And they would be like, really? I never heard about that. Well, I guess I'll tell them. Fast forward to a couple years later, I don't think anybody was told any of that stuff. I think it just went in the circular file, because none of it ever changed, of course. But, there's just, no communication within the company. You can talk to somebody who's a developer, you could talk to somebody who's the site administrator, you could talk to somebody who's a moderator, you could talk to somebody who's a programmer, and, you'll have problems conversing with them because they don't really know anything else anybody else is doing in the company. I mean, it's a big thing for these guys to say, oh, you want this in the game? Well, they're working on that. That'll be coming later. Or, they might do that. And these are things that have lasted for several years. Again, for years people have been hearing, yeah, they're working on that. For years people have heard, oh, that's coming later. It's clearly not coming later, and they're clearly not working on that. It's, obvious that that's just what you say when you don't know, because you don't know what's going on within the company. So communication, a big problem with these guys. And of course, speaking of the live streams, we're going to move on to another thing here. I was personally there for a live stream where somebody in the chat asked the community liaison people, how do I get a job with Blank Media Games? And that's an innocent enough question, probably from a younger player who was like, how can I work with you guys? And the answer, I crap you not. Trying not to say it, I'm trying not to curse. I crap you not. The actual response from the Blank Media Games employees on the Twitch stream was, you have to be a friend or family member. That was how you get a job with Blank Media Games. And then they laughed about it. Like, ha 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 ha. And, like not laughing at it like it was a joke, but laughing like, that's how you do it. And that's the thing, you've got, and I'm probably going to fudge the names a bit here, because I'm just doing this from memory. But you've got Blake Burns. You've got, I think, is it Bobby Burns? It's another B, Burns. Then you've got Brett Burns, who I think is their father. I don't know. But you've got, like, brothers and fathers and cousins and uncles. And, Blank Media Games is made up of Burnses. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of the people with other, different last names are still related. Either by marriage or, some other way that the name is different. But, this company is full of nepotism. You've got at least 3 people central to the company who are in a family together and living probably in the same house or same area or whatever. If not now, then when the game started. And, that's not a healthy work environment. That's not something where anybody can be honest with anyone. You can't go up to Blake Burns and say, Brett Burns didn't really do this thing right in the game. You can't go up to Brett Burns and say, Blake Burns should really change this about the game. Because who are they going to side with? They're not going to side with you as the player. They're going to side with each other because they're family. So nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. You're going to be the outsider. You're going to be the one who's wrong. That's why nepotism is a problem. That's why cronyism is a problem. Because it changes the business dynamic and makes it about fostering good feelings with your family or your friends, and not about producing a good product or listening to your users or respecting them. So, that's like a very disrespectful aspect of this whole thing, is just, making this a big, Kickstarter. I'm sorry, but making it a Kickstarter raid to help, to funnel money to your family. I'm sorry. That's what it is, in my opinion. God, I don't know. I mean, this weighs on me heavily because one of the 2 main developers, Josh Britton, as you may have seen in a previous video of mine, openly lied about me. Multiple times. I had posted on their forum my concerns and my complaints. I had gotten into an argument with somebody, and I was banned from their forum and from the game by Josh Britton, who, is the liar, as I will prove. And, as I have proved in the past, actually. And the thing is, when I was banned, somebody else came in, and somebody else posted and said, Tormental says that this is what happened, and that's what happened. Is this true? Or, here's the video, or whatever he said. And Josh Britton had the nerve, the absolute nerve, to reply to that and say, oh, this is obviously Tormental under an alt account trying to get back on the forum. Nope, just disregard this. And I'm like, excuse me? You're going to lie and claim that I'm trying to, scam the system and I'm trying to sock puppet for myself? Josh Britton is the head of one of the 2 heads of the company. He's an administrator on the forum. he could easily see that our IP addresses did not match and we were not the same person. And, you know, this is something that came up before, and this was something that came up after. Multiple people on multiple occasions, these people have just said, oh, that's Tormental on a different account. They said that about Magnusword. They said that he was me on another account. And I'm sorry, but I don't do that good of a British accent. They said that Duncebase was me on a different account. And while we may both be American, I don't think I sound too much like him either. You know, these are established YouTubers who were promoting their game. They know who Magnusword is. They know who Duncebase is. And they're still, the minute they post anything that's against Blank Media Games in any way or whatever, they say, oh, that's just Tormental on a different account. You know, the staff members, the community people, whatever. And Josh is the worst of them all because he, for damn sure, knew who he was talking about. You know, he could see the IP addresses. We had just had a discussion in private messages where he had asked me how to save his frigging game. That's a less offensive F word. He had just asked me in a private message, what would you do for Town of Salem? What would you do to help it? What are your ideas? And I said to him, well, you know, stop with the nepotism, stop with the, you know, special treatment for our special players, you know, stop not listening to people. And Josh Britton's reply to that was, whoa, 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 I don't want to hear what we're doing wrong. I just want ideas for updates. So I just face-palmed, I went, whatever, and I told him what people had been asking for a long time, and also some things that I came up with off the top of my head, which other people have probably suggested in the past too, but not that I had seen. And he turned around and took everything I said, basically just without my name being attached to it, you know, stripped my name off it, and he turned everything I said and he made it into the 1.5 update notice. He basically took everything I had private messaged to him and just copy-pasted it and turned it into a notice of what their next updates were going to be. So when the time came when I was banned, he knew exactly who I was. We had been talking. So for him to say that some random new person who was coming into the discussion was me, you know, he knew that the IP addresses didn't match. He knew who I was. He knew exactly what he was doing, which was trying to just say, oh, this is the same person under a different account. Nobody pay attention to it. He knew he was lying. If you want more proof that he knew, or if you want more proof that he knows when he is lying, I may put this up on the screen. I may not. You can find links below, probably. It all depends how much work I want to put into this crap with these people after doing so much. If you look at my previous video where I was showing Josh Britton lying, you could just search Tormental Josh Britton lying, you know, on YouTube. Just search those terms, whatever. He said that they started out with their friend limit at like 250 people or something. And that I came to him and I said, raise it from 250, please. And so they raised it to 500 because I asked them. And then, that still wasn't good enough for me, so he said that I came to him and said, raise it from 500, please. And so they raised it to 1,000 for me. Josh Britton further lied and said that I came to him and said, 1,000 isn't enough. Raise it again. And that at that point it was just too far, and they said no, they couldn't raise it anymore. Okay, so how can I prove unequivocally that this is a lie? If you look on the Blank Media forums for the update where they changed it to 1,000 players, the date of that post is right around the same time I had posted on another forum telling everybody, hey guys, I've almost made it to 200 subscribers. So in other words, while they were updating to 1,000 players on your friend list, that was the time when I was just getting to 200 people on my subscriber list. So why would I have asked them to raise it from 250 Why would I have asked them to raise it from 500 if I didn't even have 200 subscribers, which is below their first friend limit? Obvious liars. I never came to them and asked them anything until I asked them to raise it from 1,000. I didn't even know it had been any other number. I thought it was always 1,000. It just makes no sense. I wasn't playing with subscribers at that point. I didn't have 1,000 friends. I didn't have 500 friends. I didn't have 200 friends. I didn't have 200 subscribers on my channel. How would I have 250 friends on Town of Salem? Really? How would I have 1,000? Josh. Absolute liar. And the reason he lies is just basically to cover his own butt. He knows that he's been exposed as a con artist and a liar, and so he's basically gone into this certain mode where he's just attempted to smear whatever he can. To say anything he can just to smear my character or whatever. He kept asking us to raise the limit, and we kept doing it for him. But then we said, we can't do it for you anymore, Tormental. Please stop asking us. And then I can just turn around and prove without a shadow of a doubt that I had under 200 subscribers at the time when they were raising it to 1,000. Now I would have no reason to ask them that. I don't know. It annoys me when people lie. Because they're not only lying about me, they're lying to all of you guys. Blank Media Games, in their dishonesty, are lying to, just anyone who will look. Which is probably hundreds of people at this point have, seen what they've posted that isn't true. So they're lying to just a ton of people. And that's what really galls me, because it's just so bold and so remorseless in how they do it. Moving on once again, before I go too far and get too wordy with that, the pedophile that Blank Media Games didn't care about removing from their game. One of the other YouTubers I mentioned, Duncebass, he used to record Town of Salem, he used to stream it, until someone started following him around, impersonating him, and posting child pornography on Town of Salem. Duncebass tried to contact Blank Media Games multiple times about this to get something done, and Blank Media's response to his reports of a pedophile on their game stalking YouTubers and streamers was to unfollow Duncebass on Twitter. That was their only response. Pedophile on your game, posting pictures, illegal pictures, and all they did about it was unfollow the guy who was trying to report it. They just left Duncebass to deal with someone impersonating him and stalking him on the game, which is disgusting. The reason for this is that Duncebass and people like myself are smaller YouTubers. We don't matter to them. If this had been PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, one of the Derp Crew, Minx, Ohmwrecker, any of those people, Blank Media would have been like, oh my god, there's a pedophile impersonating you and posting things around? Holy crap, we'll get right on it and we'll ban them. We'll nuke them from orbit. But it's clear that not only do the players not matter to Blank Media Games in any regard, because they're just ignored and treated like crap, but also, anyone who's a smaller YouTuber or a smaller streamer who still brings them traffic to their game. Even those people don't mean anything to Blank Media Games. All they care about is trying to get in the good graces and hobnob with famous YouTubers. Buy them lunch, buy them dinner, meet them at conventions, fly all over the place, spend Kickstarter money and business money going to all these different conventions instead of updating their game, things like that. It just, it galls me to see somebody treated in such a fashion, to just unfollow them because they're complaining too much about the pedophile stalking them. Blank Media. Anyway. On to Kickstarter. Kickstarter goals not honored. Where are the emotes that were promised in one of the Kickstarters? That has not been honored. You got money for that goal. You're not honoring that goal. You've opened up other Kickstarters without honoring the one you already funded. Mobile. Where is mobile? It supposedly is in beta. I'm sure it is. But it was for mobile phones in the Kickstarter, and they changed it to just for tablets because they didn't want to actually make it for a phone. All they wanted to do is resize it and, port it to a tablet without actually having to work on how to make it, playable on a small phone. So by shifting it from mobile phones to tablets, they have not honored that goal. They changed it to something else, which is not what people funded. They have not honored the PlayStation 4 port of Town of Salem. They have shelved that, and they have no comment of any intention to go back to doing that. People paid through your Kickstarter for you to port the game to PlayStation. And you have just said, yeah, you know what, we're not going to be doing that. Okay, new Kickstarter for a card game, everyone. You can't do that. You can't not honor things people paid for in your previous Kickstarters and then just launch a new Kickstarter to get more money. You have to honor the things that you set up that you were going to do. There's more. But I think those three flubbed goals, show more than enough about how they don't care. Yeah. You paid for those goals, but those were the old people who paid. Those were people who paid on the old Kickstarter. We already got and spent their money. So why do that? Why honor those goals? Let's just start a new Kickstarter and then probably not honor several goals with that one. Speaking of the new Kickstarter, when it launched, they said, everybody who's active on the game will get a free skin and a free pet and a free house and all these free things just for playing the game during the Kickstarter. And everybody was like, oh, cool. Not me, because I didn't give a crap, but, everybody's like, oh, cool, that's great. Thank you for the free things. Later on, when the Kickstarter started going up above the goal they wanted, Blank Media turned right around and said, oh, all those free things that you were going to get just for playing the game during the Kickstarter? We're only going to give those to you if we reach $500,000 on our Kickstarter. So if you want those free things that we promised you, again, they already promised this to people. If you want those free things we promised, get us to $500,000, which is astronomical and way above what they were asking. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. You don't tell people that they're going to get something if they support your project and they play the game during the time when you're trying to get people interested. You don't promise them that and then take it back and say, wait. Oh, hold on. No, you don't get those free. Get us to $500,000 and you can have those. Could you imagine if we got $500,000? Ooh. Greedy. Absolutely greedy. And I would add an expletive onto the end of that, greedy something or others, but I'm not going to do that. Frig. Speaking of the Kickstarters, sponsoring YouTubers to play their game to promote the Kickstarters, while also not ensuring that the YouTubers have any idea of what they're doing. Not telling the YouTubers how to play, not telling them not to cheat. There's been an influx in the game, and thankfully I stopped playing it before the YouTuber videos came out, the sponsored ones. But there's been an influx, from what people have said, of people cheating and playing badly and not knowing what they're doing, because they saw a video where PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, I'm trying to remember everybody involved, where all these people played Town of Salem, and they told each other what roles they were in Skype, and they, told each other information in Skype, and they just hung people because they had a funny name, and they wanted to kill people with funny names. And, people saw those videos, and they flooded into the game and ruined it. The people who were already playing, who were veterans of the game, who were already experienced in the game, who were already having fun, got flooded with a bunch of people going, nee-hee-hee, your name is this, you die, and everybody else going, nee-hee-hee, yeah, let's kill him, he has a funny name. They don't even care enough to tell the people they're paying probably like $100,000 to, all told, if not more. They don't even care enough to tell them how to play the game right and to tell them to please not cheat in the videos. They don't care. And Blank Media Games says, oh, well, it was beyond our control. We can't really tell YouTubers what to do. Bull dunk. Bull dunk, you can't. YouTubers have to sign non-disclosure agreements. YouTubers have to sign all sorts of stuff before they play certain games. So if you're paying them, you darn sure can say, we're going to pay you to play this game, but only, you got to play it right. You can't actually cheat, and you can't just throw the game. So they definitely could do that. They just didn't care. They don't want to get on the bad side of the YouTubers they want to hobnob with, the celebrities they want to meet, etc. I don't know. The main thing that is terrible about the Blank Media staff is that they don't update the game enough in certain regards that are needed, and what they do update is horrible. They've added, I think, 4 roles to the game beyond the original roles that it launched with. And these roles are Werewolf, Forger, Vampire, and Vampire Hunter. All 4 of these roles are garbage. With the exception of Werewolf, nobody that I've come across has had any love for any of these roles. They're just like crap. They're things that nobody wanted. They're things that nobody likes. The thing with the Werewolf is occasionally you'll get a rare person who says, I love Werewolf. The majority don't, but, I'm making an allowance for that 1 or 2 times, that you come across some weird guy who's like, Werewolf is my favorite. But, the updates they add are terrible, and the good things that people want done, they just ignore. And worse yet, as I said, they'll threaten you if you suggest it more than once or twice. And say, if you keep suggesting that, we're going to make it worse. We're going to make our own game worse. Real genius. But yeah. I mean, as I said, I'm not going to be putting evidence on the screen. I'm too tired of dealing with this. I'm too tired of giving the spotlight on my channel to these people. I just want to ignore them and have them go away, because that's what will happen the way they run their business. Eventually, probably sooner than later, they'll go away, and no one will hear of them again. Alright, that's my thoughts on Town of Salem and Blank Media Games. I probably missed a bunch of stuff that I'll regret later, but whatever. Goodbye!